The parts arrived today. Those are the split collars. And then we have the spindle and the rebuild kit. Next I'm going to remove the chain guard, just starting here with this nut and bolt at the bottom of the shock absorber, and then moving on to another nut that's securing it at the front that actually secures it to the swing arm. That's it back there. This is a nice little feature at the back of the mudguard. You just press these two pins in. It's spring loaded, and just press it in and you can just pull it out for access to the chain. I'm supposed to oil at some point. Next I'm slackening off the nut at the bottom of the shock absorber here, and this cutaway on the mudguard, it needs to go over that rubber grommet. There's like an inspection grommet, and it struggles to get over that if you don't remove the grommet first of all. And there's a cutaway here on the bracket that holds the mudguard to the swing arm. So first of all, remove this grommet, slacken off the nut. I've already undone it a little bit, and then pull the grommet out if I can get it. Get my thumb under it, and that's the grommet off, and then we should be able to just pull the mudguard out. There we go. And I'll give that a nice clean up. It's not so bad, a little pitted inside. But this was a new mudguard that I got from a guy on the internet, on eBay actually, bsanut. He's got some really nice products. Yeah, and then finally we should be able to remove the sprocket and the drum for the brake just by removing the axle nut here, this stub axle nut, dropping it down, removing the chain, and then we're ready to go. Doing this blind. There we go. I should have probably done this earlier, but I'm going to remove these mufflers and the Z-plates and the foot pegs. Arguably you may not need to remove these, but I'm going to take them apart anyway, just remove them off the bike. I just want to make a load of room available for us to work in that swing arm area if needed. So I'm going to take these off next, and it's not a big job, just nuts and bolts, so that'll be the next job. Tight. I'm removing the top and the bottom nut from this bracket rather than trying to disassemble the nut and bolts that hold the silencer and the muffler onto the plate, so that the whole thing should hopefully lift away together. Next I'm going to remove the foot peg, rear foot peg. This is a 9/16 SAE fitting. Just getting everything out of the way. So what I'm going to do next is remove the nuts from the other side of these bolts here that go through. Trying to remove the nuts here on the other side, it just spins, and so it's not undoing the nut. So I'm going to remove the nuts from this bracket that will allow the bracket to fall away, with this and this falling away, that will leave the silencer in a state where I can spin it off the header pipes and then away from the bike. Hope I remember how this all goes back together again. It's like a Meccano set. Erector set, it's called in the States, an erector set. I think they're slightly different, but same thing, kids construction set. So now the plate at the rear should just pop off. Come on, that's that. Okay. Try not to scratch the muffler on those heads of those nuts and bolts. Okay, sorry about that. I made a bit of a meal of that, didn't I? I was trying to demonstrate that I was putting everything back together as it came off, just so I wouldn't forget how everything fits. So anyway, hope it looked okay. And what you can see now is we're getting further and further into the swing arm. So next job is to remove this Z plate here, this foot peg hanger plate. And yeah, that'll be the next job, and then we're getting closer again, and then obviously having to repeat the same on the other side. Okay, so I've just put the sockets on these fittings. The little xenodiode nut here, that's 7/16, and then most of them are 9/16. This is SAE, by the way. And then here, this is the spindle, or the main bolt that goes through the rear isolastics, and that's a chunky one. That's 3/4. Yep, 3/4. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this foot peg hanging off this here. There's no point in taking it off. So, and then the whole plate will come off. Thanks for pointing out all these scratches on here. You know, I hadn't noticed them as much. You know, from 10 feet, the bike looks nice. But wow, what a difference when you get the close angle lens and the LED lights. I've got some LED lights that I use for these movies, and it really showed some of the sort of scratches here and all the cases, and in particular on this foot peg here. So I'm going to be taking those off, giving them a polish, and see if I can get rid of some of those imperfections. But woo. This will be a nice opportunity to take a look at everything behind the scenes and just see how everything's looking. Yeah, look at that. A little bit of corrosion there and a ton of oil. I'm just making sure that the nut's not turning back there. Gotta grab the washer before it drops. Okay. Yep. Oh no. Yeah, I think it's turning. Okay. I'm gonna go in from the back and hold on to that. It's filthy back here, so this will be a great opportunity to see if I can figure out where all this oil's coming from. So there's like a clip, pipe retaining clip back there. Oh, I'm glad that came off. This side, I don't think it's turning. Did you see where they went? Those spacers. One more under here as well. Okay, so that's the Z plate off, and we're getting further and further inside of the centre of the motorcycle. And so yeah, that was a good job. You can see how pretty grimy it is. And what I've done is I've just put all the nuts and bolts together again back onto the Z plate, just so I know where everything goes, all the spacers, etc. And then nuts and bolts here, just refitted those so everything's back where it needs to be for the reassembly.